Friends, and welcome to the NECC. Welcome to week number 3. It's the end of the weekday, therefore it's Rocket League, and I am pleased to say that not just myself, Reilq, is going to be joining you for a couple of matches, but for what I understand is the entirety of tonight, you are going to be indulged by the dulcet tones of HailMonkeyMan. Hail, thank you so much for being here. What a start, and what a great match to open up our evening with.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one. In case you guys have not been with us for the last few weeks, well, guess what? The season is a few weeks old. We're in the middle of it as we're in, I think, week number 3, sometimes 4, depending on which division you're in for Rocket League here at NECC. And for this first matchup, it's going to be the Challengers Northeast Division between King's College and Lebanon Valley College, as Lebanon Valley, they're still looking for their first win. And I looked at this at a couple different conferences, NECC included. You stumble at the starting block here, Reilq, and you haven't gotten that first big, at least that uno on the board in the winners column. You're just trying to keep everyone cool, calm, and collected as you go throughout the season.
Yeah, it's a little bit more complicated than just promotion, relegation, or any of that nonsense. But here's the thing, it does weigh on the mind the longer you go into a season and you're not picking up that win. So getting the monkey off the back, it's topical because you're here. Getting that monkey off the back is certainly it's always difficult to do, but so rewarding when you do eventually achieve it. So let's actually go through these two teams. You've rightly mentioned it's Challengers, and so if you're unaware of the sort of tiers that we have, Challengers is basically slapdash in the middle. Gil, Juicy, and shot by a penguin. Kowalski, is that you? They're going to be repping King's College. Here's Lebanon Valley College White, though. These are the guys that need to step up this week to try and get that first win on the board. Bluff, the Flabster, Too Much Sauce. These names are quality.
Yeah, I love these names. And also, did you guys know that Blarnf actually has a rap career, or at least a
Does
poet?
He really?
As they were putting it out there. Let's say, lasagna in my pocket, lasagna in my shoe, call me a baby the way I goo goo. They may be rocking us to sleep with some of those fat lyrics, but you got to see how they're going to be getting past this squad as well as the Lions. Right now, we were talking about stumbling at the starting blocks and trying to get that one righted, but they're undefeated, 6-0, 2-0 in series play. All their games accounted for in the Flying Dutchman. They want to be able to right that ship if they can. So Challengers used to be the second from the top, and that means that there's pretty darn good. So got to see if maybe that these teams can just bring that mechanical prowess that still comes along with this division, promote themselves forward. But it's not panic yet, but you know that everyone's desperate for that win.
It's yet highlighted in italics and bold, most certainly. You're absolutely spot on, because it's only week 3. Yeah, we're talking about a 7, 8, 9-week season sometimes here at NECC. 2 weeks is not the end of the world if you've picked up 2 losses. But at the same time, confidence really does make a difference in this esport. If you're playing confident, not overconfident, mind you, let's take that complacency, throw it out the window. You're playing just pure confidently. The synergy tends to be a little bit easier. Those passes seem to be found a little easier. The shots more so on target. And for not just King's College, of course, we're looking at Marywood, Eagles White. All 3 of those teams are sitting on 2-0 in terms of their WL record, 6-0 in terms of game wins to game losses. They have not lost a single game to this point. Hence why the task is indeed tall today for Lebanon. Even to just get 1 game off their opponents might be seen in some quarters as a success in of itself.
It's weird because I actually like seasons that end up rendering yourself at least a few losses, just so that you are reminded and grounded about how you need to play. But all enough about that. Perfection still on the side of King's College, as the Lions are going to try and fight their way out of the blue corner, and much to the degree of orange is going to be the Flying Dutchman out of LVC. And I want to see how these 2 squads will be cycling. They're going to be our starter kit for a 5-match series night. So you guys are ready for a long fight, and already the Lions are trying to bear down upon the Dutchman.
And that's a very nice challenge coming in from Gil, forcing a bit of an error in the defense. Lovely slowing down of the play. Fortuitous, Too Much Sauce. Falls on that. Maybe not all of his own volition. He's going to be happy that he did, though, because that was an almost certain goal in the making.
Yeah, that one was going yard, and I think they actually had a demo that went the right direction and was able to just respawn in the nick of time on the side of King's College, and just barely some small ball, not making it past the goal line for the Lions, as LVC is put under duress. And they will have to go into this long recovery. Great snatch up by Too Much Sauce, but that's a little bit too much height for them to deal with, as this is going to be caught on the other corner. Another big demo, this time shot by a penguin. Did you know Shot by a Penguin actually does like penguins, even though they were shot by one?
Or maybe they are like in cahoots with the penguin, like, or maybe it's like a photo, like, you know, like a photo shot, like they were snapped, like, oh, shot, you know, like, whoa, great picture. Maybe it's the album cover for the aforementioned rap album that will be dropping your way soon. No goals have dropped in as of yet, though, but one thing is for certain, King's College loving these demos, looking for those disruption plays wherever they can. On the back foot, they look a little bit ropey in the defensive side, however, and that is what LBC are going to be hoping to capitalize on.
Both teams really haven't been able to get any free looks, except for maybe one still that has Blarnf on the back line, as Juicy was looking for extra height as well as momentum and be able to rush down behind that ball. An awkward position by Blarnf, and this one is still a floating free ball. As free, though, as a quick double rotation from two defenders out of LVC, and yet from left to right and back again. We're constantly cycling for the Lions at the midway mark, and another shot on line and another big save.
LVC have got the odd opportunity here and there. I'd argue they've had the best chances with, I mean, certainly when you contextualize how little chances they've had in the grand scheme of things. King's College, it's not just about the demo plays, it's about the pressure and the sustained sieges that they're enacting onto LVC White. Eventually, you imagine, surely the camel's back is going to break. A question of if, maybe when, who knows at this point, but at 2 minutes to still see this one at 0-0, MonkeyMan, I think that is a huge boon for both defenses. It's going to be tough nuts to crack.
Yeah, and that's when the frustration really starts finding a few extra fissures forming into that armor. The chinks beginning to get a little bit bigger, a little bit thicker, and now less than 2 minutes to go. And LVC has been at the just press of King's College more often than not. And something that King's College, though, is really opening up as opportunities for the Dutchmen to be able to fly into, is they have wide open gaps because they just feel so confident pressing up for the midfield line and just bearing down upon LVC. Another big catch. Nice scoop. Juicy really doesn't impress too much as they get Gil in the rotation, keeping it low, but a nice challenge here again. And we're at 90 seconds approaching, and still nothing's made it to the back of the net. We could be going to a 1-goal OT.
I think that's certainly the way the winds are blowing. There's no storm yet on the horizon. With sub 90 seconds left, it's Too Much Sauce Central. Looking for Bush Tactics, finds the bar. That is as close as LVC have gotten. Now can they try and get a follow-up shot off? No, Too Much Sauce loses out again. Gil simply too pacey to the ball. And in the midfield, the Kings are living up to their royal titles.
Oh, sitting on their thrones and trying to expand their territories and continuing to do those. Shot by a penguin, rendering one over to Gil, and they were going to have the third man stay backwards. That one's awkward. Juicy doesn't exactly receive that, but he's also backed up by Penguin themselves. So it's not in the most dangerous position, but look how quickly they're sending at least one as the tip of the spear for LVC to just force out the Lions from their own back corner. Shot by Penguin, neutralized at midfield, and now you have this double rotation there. Everyone from LVC is looking at their own net. They got 30 seconds to go, and again, King's College is bringing up the attack. They cannot give that back line up, though.
Look how conservative Shot by Penguin is. Corrals that under his spell into the midfield, sees Bush Tactics below, held up by Gil. The ball moving forward ever so slightly. Well read by Juicy, actually. That was a difficult read, given that it should have bounced. It didn't, it stayed flat. Nevertheless, giving up possession, and again, back into Shot by Penguin. Milliseconds left now as we head towards an almost certainly called it earlier, HailMonkeyMan. Ballard, that's going to fall to the floor very sharpishly. It's 0-0. It's donuts across that bar.
All right. It just turns into a barn burner here in game number one. Could get squeaked out, and honestly, LVC, I've been surprised. Their defense has had to answer late term, and you've seen a lot more opportunities really punctured up here for King's College, putting a lot of holes, but nothing too detrimental for the Flying Dutchman to have to deal with. And yet, on the other end, you're seeing some awkward defensive play. This one going straight to the crossbar, and maybe some overtime life is what LVC has just been looking for to finally get their offense going.
That's a nice idea from Blanc, actually, but Shot by a Penguin was in place, ready to receive. Over the top of Too Much Sauce. It's a 1v1 with Gil. Too Much Sauce just attempting to sow discord where they can. Shot by a Penguin goes near post, hits said post, and Bush Tactics very much gets away with it. Lovely transitional, by the way. The clear is complete.
One does drop in the backside corner. So LVC, again, just kind of sent streaking. And this is looking a little bit more promising, though, as they've not allowed King's College to just posture themselves up into the midfield line. It's had to go really travel back and forth on that middle third. And now from Bush Tactics is set up, looking for the second man. The third stays well out to receive. That's a great retrieval, but Juicy's going to drop it to the backboard. Blarf, with the narrowest bit of timing, is able to come up clean.
Blanc, very much the guttural sound, I think, that a couple of these defensive clears are garnering. But here's a good one we want to get. Oh, too much sauce. That's a poor touch. Gives it away quite succinctly to the blue team, and you don't really want to give it away succinctly. That suggests that you're doing a very good job and not keeping the ball for yourself. That's a good challenge again. Another bar hit back into the center. Blanc ball there on their own. They keep on getting shut down, MonkeyMan.
Yeah, Blarf is about the same sound that's happening whenever I'm trying to be able to run in some of these posts, and I get shoved straight into them, just looking for a 50-50. Juicy from the back line, and this one's going to bounce over and away, and now becomes a lateral, a pre-flip, Bush Tactics. Oh, they can't make the next read. If they got to the outside of that, maybe, just maybe, but it's going to be King's College that at least puts a man-on-man, and we're already 7 minutes into this first game, still without a score. A 2v1 Gil for the redirect, but it doesn't connect.
Yeah, it's going to come down to a mistake, isn't it? Either that or a super high quality play. What great comms to try and sew that move together. Sadly for them, didn't quite pull off, but it's nice to see that creativity, that ingenuity, that boldness, especially when you're so deep into overtime. The pressure really does get to a lot of these players, so fantastic to see both teams going right for it straight from the off.
This is just a play of scrimmage and continuously finding both these teams. Oh, what a wicked miss! But still, they weren't ready for it. King's College has really respected what LVC's been able to take away from them. They've had a man to respond to each and every single shot and ultimately deny them, put them at a 0. Shot by Penguin, though, trying to take a next level shot, maybe just slow things down, and the off-pace offensive is starting to create some of these wrinkles that LVC is just not ready for. It becomes a man-on-man. They'll have at least one leaping up, and Gil is just a step behind.
That's a great read from Too Much Sauce. Had to pre-read it off the backboard. Forces the blue team all the way back. King's College resetting to square one. Easy giveaway from Juicy. Not a great touch. Gil, the challenge won by LVC White. Shot by Penguin. Standing and staring, but there's no pressure from LVC White. Choosing to prioritize the boost. I don't blame them at this stage. You'd rather have those resources in the tank to work with, but you've got to risk to get the reward. Maybe the chance now, but no, Goomba stopped.
Oh my goodness, that was actually the greatest just like underplay, because it looked like the man coming off the backside post was actually going to be the first one to get it. Instead, they just drop it to their teammate. A giveaway? Yes, it is! It's a shot on target. Gil will be able to fill the gap after Juicy basically just gave that one up. And then King's College already in a counterattack the other way, but that gets snuffed out early.
You've got to go 2 steps ahead of one another. The moment that you're on the same level, it's going to be too late. King's College know this, LVC White know this, and to be, oh my goodness, to be fair, they're the ones that are ever so slightly creaking and crumbling. Couple of mistakes here and there. The worst was yet to come! An OG tragedy!
Bush Tactics got challenged, that's okay, and just thinking they have to do a bit too much. Looking to send it to the corner, but it's spooky time out there in Scaresville. King's College will get the overtime win. Oh, oopsie daisies being seeded all over the field, and that's going to be quite the crop coming up before game number 2.
Yo, the 16 shots on target from King's College, though.
Wow.
That's a really good day at the office. Dude, Lebanon Valley, though, getting 10 shots themselves. The opportunities were there, and it really did eventually burn down to who takes that one opportunity, who takes that game by the scruff of the neck, stands up and says, I'm going to be the reason why we win here. Unfortunately for Blanc, scored in the wrong net, but I liked so many of the fundamentals. It's just that final application in front of net. The one thing I'd say they were lacking, MonkeyMan, the demos. We saw plenty of them from King's College. I think one demo just to disrupt that defensive rotation of King's College that was really solid right throughout those 8 minutes. I think we could be talking about a very different ball game.
But the biggest thing you can really pull away with, Blarf can be like, hey guys, they still haven't scored on us.
I know.
They didn't score. We scored.
Yeah.
So their defense did post up. They were able to stop them, but you got to think, yeah, a lot more of those opportunities have to manifest not in overtime. I think a majority of them, would it be the Lions' share, really came out in bonus time. But we're going to go to game number 2. And you have to have basically the memory of a goldfish. If you are LVC, write that one off, give yourself some positivity, and be able to fight back into this second iteration.
One of the most entertaining 0-0s you'll probably see here at the NECC. A roaring success, you could say, in terms of performance, not necessarily in terms of the scoreline. And King's College will be hoping to win this next one a little more comfortably. A reminder that this is best of 5, so if they were to go on and win game number 2, of course, MonkeyMan, they'd be on to match point scenario and very much in the driver's seat.
Yeah, and this is one of those teams, too, that really hasn't been able to find a lot of success, at least for these first couple of weeks. Looking for the double tap. Gill's going to leave it for a teammate as they could not adjust. And the bomb play! All right, finally getting one early inside the first minute, and it was a great team play setup.
It's nice to see King's College finally doing what their siege is meant to do in terms of the macro play. You got to steal the 100 boost, folks. You got to steal the 100 boost so that they don't have anything to work with. And stranded there on the line, completely isolated, no boost. There was no hope, especially once the bump came through. Much better from King's College in front of net.
King's College was impressing some of that mentality on them when they were doing a lot more of those demo and bump plays. And then it's basically just insult to injury once that corner boost is gone. Big challenge, and that one's actually to give some extra real estate over to LVC. Nice extra touch, but just like we've seen before, LVC has not been able to prioritize getting secondary and tertiary approaches. It's the initial one, and then they just kind of flee, go back and recover, and that's what really supplants them on this defensive line.
They're doing 90% of the good work. And then they're just leaving that final 10%. It's like they know that they can get the A star, but they're just content with the A. Oh, that would have been S tier had Gill been able to find the angle way tighter than anybody should dare have to try and shoot from. But still, a good attempt nonetheless.
You do have, I believe it is Bush Tactics as well as Penguin over in a Rule 1, so this becomes a 2v2, and no wonder we're getting some crossbar top backboard shots as well. That's going to be Gill, who's going to be full up, a great challenge, but into 2v2, you got to trust some of this extra spacing. Blarnf is going to come up a bit later, and acting less of this in a team play and more just about taking up territory, but it's a confusing rotation right now for King's College, but they're able to at least pick it up in the corner.
Somebody help this kid! Like, Bob's just running around in front of net, saying, please, suck, I'm passing the ball. I'm leaving it for you to shoot. Why is nobody shooting? Especially in a 2v2. This should be your moment.
Oh.
Maybe it'll come here. It's a 1v1, and still Gill stands strong.
Oh, they've been able to extend that field. They just haven't, like you said, had that support factor behind them. Too much sauce. I think they're actually running dry. See if they can be able to get more of that behind them. Even if it's a fine red or a fine white, either way, it'll be a zesty dinner. Gill, great takeaway, but it's too much sauce. That finally forces that challenge into this 2v2. Looking for the demo. They've got it. They're playing in the man advantage, but it's just falling short as it goes over to Juicy, and they find the clear.
For a team that I have praised for their comms, they gotta speak to each other. They gotta speak. It is sending me crazy not making the call to say I'm going for the demo. Almost an OG of Juicy's own making there, saved by the post, you could say. And the Rule 1, it appears to have been broken. I think King's College, perhaps a little bit scared about how close LVC have come here, has that opportunity passed.
The Lions maybe just downgrading into Pussycats, but we'll see if the final 100 seconds does make them king of the jungle all over again. They still have that 1-0 big challenge, and that's a freebie. Beautiful. They find that tiny error, and finally King's College gives up one.
Well, if there's one thing to say about too much sauce, they like their eggs poached, don't they? Picking the pocket of the King's College midfield. Nobody at home to defend the resultant trickling ball for heading into the back of the net. That is a break of luck that LVC have been desperate for. Now they got to make hay whilst the sun is shining.
Well, it's not exactly like it hasn't happened before. Double committing to be able to get that save. Blarnf will be the one with a primary touch, and they still put some extra shots on target. Juicy will stick around. That one doesn't hit ceiling, and thus they have to pull up a teammate instead. They'll be unable to field it. Blarnf Oh, even with one extra, Juicy's still there a little bit more rapidly, looking for the touchdown, and it's gonna go to corner. And though they send the third man, they can't find that connection. A minute to go, and it could be a minute to win it because it's OT could be right around the corner again as this one falls wide.
How close do you want it? Both teams are suffering. It's a little less disjointed. Both teams starting to find those passes, and the defenses aren't quite catching up. They've been sort of playing at a bit of a slower rate with slower heartbeats, but those heartbeats are most certainly pounding now. If you're a King's College fan, the balls keep on hitting the backboard, but there's none on target.
I know that they're called the Flying Dutchman, but those shots have got to go lower than the backboard. Trying for a big demo. Blarf saves the day because their defender was being bore down upon a nice angle shot. Gil puts it into the stripes. 10 seconds to go. Who could be in for another treat of an OT bonus time has been found once, maybe twice. Juicy will miss the connection. Gil with one extra possession, and they're actually going to have it hit the ground. No, it bounces upward. The try from distance, and it'll be shut down. And guess what? We're here again.
They were throwing a spider's web over their net, LVC. There were so many creepy crawlies lurking at every single post bar, bit of woodwork they can find. But make no mistake, Chat King's College, by far and away looking the stronger team. Oh my goodness, a miss, a second miss. That's not missed, but it is saved. Here's Gil, backboard again. They've got to clear it, LVC White. Another big block, this time from Bluff. Round the corner, Gil sees his target, and they strike the top pocket! 2-1, 2-0 in the series.
Double dragon, double touch, double up. King's College total from game 1 to 2, and it took an extra touch off of the defender as well. LVC suffers another defensive loss, but King's College keeps coming out the better. Wow, they're on match point, but this one has been a squeaker. Much the opposite, though, in terms of output here, Reilq, as we see Lebanon Valley only able to post up 5.
16 shots last game, 15 shots if my math doesn't fail me this time around, compared to Lebanon's 5. Their shot total has been legitimately and completely halved. That's a worry. And I'm starting to see why this team has struggled to pick up wins this season. We've been saying it throughout, it's the entire narrative. They do everything right up until the final third. And then it's like they just get completely starstruck. They got to get over this hump. They've got to try and figure out a way to open up the defense. We saw a couple of demos here and there. Again, even if you're just demoing for fun, even if it's just throwing in that chaos theory value, it's better than what is happening right now, which is get there and okay, job done. Turn around, grab more boost, defend. You're inviting the pressure.
Yeah, it really feels like they get, 75% up the field. In that last 15, they say, "Hey, man, I'm out of gas, so I'm doing like an early stop. No big deal."
I'm out of here.
And or if it's a paper and these guys are in college, they forgot to put their name on it. Like, come on, you've done all the research. Just complete it, put your John Hancock, and get it going. But King's College, I had the benefit of LVC just not being able to finish the job. Do find a couple, but Blarf, that has been the attacker we've been looking to strike here, Reilq.
Yo. Did he apply glue to his car? How? This first touch is unreal. And then to have the smartness to keep it close to the car, launch it along the ground. Whereas King's College, they're flailing, they're throwing themselves into the air, expecting a shot that's going to be hitting a little bit higher. What an important goal this could be for Lebanon Valley.
Finally able to get their first lead of the series. And it's off of some Blarf mayhem, as they've been looking for some of those more open opportunities, and they just haven't been able to manifest it for themselves. The defense, though, very timely when they need to be, especially in these open field tactics, looking for that 1-2 upfield bush tactics. In fact, big flick, but it's actually empowered by a King's College attacker, and Blarf is going to have to be set to receive. It's going to come off the post, but this goes to where there's no blue cards.
Got the entire east wing to fly down, and they have done, but they run out of boost and they run out of talent at the wrong time. Here's Gil, flip reset, loses it to bush tactics. It's again a little bit of a preemptive flip there, giving the ball away far too easily. A bit of panic stations when they don't really need to be hitting that big red button. They might have to now, though. Here's Gil going straight for the back of the net again.
You can't teach this. I mean, you could, but you can't. Gil is actually just putting on a seminar right now. The initial bump set away the defender that was going to be the primary just mainstay, and then everyone else unprepared for what Gil was going to be able to drum up. So King's College, they find a response, and it's highlight after highlight. Bush tactics. Just didn't have enough in the tank to be able to get to the outside of that ball and put some heat to it.
It was the right call. It was the right call. Any shot any further to the right, and that was hitting the defender every way but Tuesday. His Bush tactics. Oh, and again, Bluff! It's the wrong time to turn around.
Wow.
You've got to bank on your teammate winning that. It's like they completely run out of faith. Maybe we need to get the hymn book out. Get these folks singing some songs.
They need to at least, find some brotherly love together, because so far it's just been, all right, if the first look doesn't work, we leave. We're out. Triple commit defensively, by the way. That one at least is connected, and Bush Tactics doing much the opposite, putting on an island, too much sauce, but they will elevate. 50 in the tank, a drop-off pass, Gesu to Blarf, waiting on it, and that's a very cheeky touch. It goes round the outside, going to the other highlight player in Gil, and now everyone playing bumper cars, and I don't know whose team is on whose.
Bush Tactics. Sees Blanf, leaves it. Great fake. Oh, that's a brilliant fake into a shot. Great save from shot by a Penguin. That's going to be loitering in the air, and that's well held by Gil. Just stood strong behind the ball, even in midair, to block any resultant shot. And would you believe it? Like a sucker punch, King's College go right down the other end. It's Gil at the sharp end of the spear.
But I want to call out some just patience and nerviness on the other side for King's College, not just on the fake, being able to read it and still have someone at the last possible degree for that ball to bounce over the goal line. That turned Gil into a counterplay opposition and finally able to get the Lions out of the den. LVC has been looking a lot more lethal, dangerous recently, but they also get to play a little bit more upfield because there's nothing left to lose. You're down 2 in the series. Gil, he had a third ready to go, but Blarn buried deep in the net, and now the Dutchman trying to fly away.
Half second too early. But every second ticking by is one that LVC does not want to say bye-bye to just yet. 1 goal differential. A demo on shot by a Penguin, but Gil is in possession. Runs right down the other side. Too much sauce. Playing with fire. Demo on him. Shot by a Penguin. Allowed the time to do the full 180. It's not even on a dime. They were able to do the full taxi circle in the center of London. Now down the other end, here comes Lebanon Valley. Oh my word, I thought that was a huge mistake, but it was Gil on that near post again, really turning it to the MVP.
Goodness gracious. Yeah, Gil coming alive has really been able to promote the Lions going forward, and already trying to do it again. That's a setup to anyone that wants to find it from the outside. Shot by Penguin, trying to take a shot themselves. Juicy, and they take that first plunge, and yet are unable to get it to the second man, and LVC is doing some wild tactics in the middle of the pitch, looking to see if they can just have that bare minimum connection together, and Gil will back up. Shot by Penguin is there just to promote stress right in the midst of every one of those Dutchmen, but less than a minute to go here. Reilq, King's College still holds that lead. No one will be diving forward.
I don't blame the anchor for not going up on that one. Blanf has by far and away been LVC's best threat and their best defender, but too much sauce required to do the defending on this occasion. That's a nice pinch downfield. Going to pick up the 100 boost. Thrown back into the corner by Juicy. Demo meantime. Backboard. Great interception from Gil, continues to step up. Bush Tactics lacks the boost, shot by a Penguin, wins the race. Too much sauce, goes central again, lacks the conviction to pass it to a player. Blanf now on the scene, shot by a Penguin. It's relentless, it's unrelenting, but still no goal to equalize.
They're going to have to bear down upon it, and King's College, the best defense for them is a good offense. Gil's the one that started off. 10 seconds approaching. Too much sauce. They've got to be the big boss, trying to be able to make a toss to get it out to the middle of the field. That's Blarf to Bush Tactics. Backboard. The third man is way too close. King's College will put it away, and they're going to try and put it on the ground. Still up in the air, but that'll be a kill to the grass. King's College takes it in a 3-0 sweep, but it was anything but comfortable.
Close, but not close enough for 3 games in a row. Gotta hurt. Gotta hurt if you're Lebanon Valley. There are so many positive things that I can say about this team. And in flashes, you can see this team getting over the line and getting over that goal drought. But my goodness, even when they did go ahead, they weren't able to keep King's College down. And that's why we should be crediting them more than we should ever be discrediting Lebanon Valley. That was an That was the least 3-0 series of Rocket League that you will see in your lives, because Lebanon Valley at least deserved one out of it.
Yeah, 2/3 of it went to overtime. I mean, it was always a one-score venture, and it's a team that definitely can play defense. They are able to dive at the last second, be able to keep teams from at least putting too many onto them. But like you were talking about a lot before, it's a team that really needs to find where that offense finds comfort, where they go upfield and find not just a single but double and second and third rotations. So got to see how much of that promotes throughout the season. But otherwise, it is the Lions, Kings College. They go to 3-0, and it was a convincing, but it was now 9-0 on the season. They're gonna have to see how they separate from further competition.
Top of the table for them. But we're going to be taking a step down a tier to the Emergence Division when we return, as Southwestern Oklahoma State University take on Oklahoma Christian University. Oh, I do love a good derby. We'll see you then.